RJ Barrett. Apparently, the Knicks have been actually contemplating including him in the deal to get Donovan Mitchell.
Latest offer I saw was Evan Fournier, Obi Toppin, 4 first-round picks, with 2 of those being unprotected and cash.
Obviously, Utah is not going to want that because nobody wants Fournier.
Or do they? Are they just playing hardball right now?
I really hope they wouldn't do all that for Fournier, Toppin, and some picks. Because for Donovan Mitchell, that especially what they got for Rudy Gobert.
Right, but
I mean,
that's
not saying everyone's just as dumb as Minnesota, but like,
I mean, but honestly, Donovan Mitchell doesn't want to be there anymore. They're running out of time before the regular season starts. Their KD's not going anywhere, so obviously that kind of locks up a little thing. Miami, I guess, would be the only real suitor who would be interested in maybe taking on Donovan Mitchell. But what are you going to get back in return? Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson.
right.
You know what I mean? Picks that won't nearly be as valuable as the Knicks picks would be, especially if you have a team that has Jimmy Butler, Bam, and Donovan Mitchell on it.
Exactly. Plus, I don't know how many picks they even have left.
Now, if you're going to get RJ Barrett's not my favorite player on the planet. I think he's kind of a bust in some ways.
Okay.
Some days he looks really good, and then other days he scores 8 points, and he looks like garbage. So the Knicks can't build a franchise around him. So moving on from him would be a good idea. But if they could avoid not dealing him and keep him and maybe trade him for somebody else, then that's fine. But if the Jazz were going to get him back as a part of the deal, fine, take it. Right. However, I don't know. I just don't. I was actually thinking about, too, when I was looking at the Cavs roster, I was looking at all the assets that the Cavs have that would be. They have draft picks. They have Kevin Love that they could deal. They have Lowry Marketing, who's making a lot of money. They have a lot of guys who could get dealt. And the Cavs could possibly consider maybe sending Sexton, who they haven't been able to work out a new contract with him. He wants considerably more money. I doubt he wants to share any piece of the spotlight with Darius Garland, because going into last season, Colin Sexton was the man and Darius Garland was the number 2. Now we're going into this season with Colin Sexton as the number 2 and Darius Garland's number 1, and I don't think he likes that.
Honestly, Sexton looks like the number 3 right now.
LeVert makes a ton of money. He's a guy who doesn't they have enough depth at the small forward position, shooting guard. They have depth, so he's another guy who they can maybe dangle, somewhere to the Jazz along with some picks and maybe Colin Sexton. Like, that would work out much better than any deal with the Knicks. What are you going to get, Evan Fournier? Who cares about that? I'd rather go after Colin Sexton.
Like Colin Sexton, LeVert, and then maybe say one of the bench guys like Lamar Stevens or Dean Wade, and then 3 picks. Oh, yeah, over anything the Knicks are giving you, unless they're giving you, like, RJ and Quentin Grimes. Like, that would be something that I'd be like, all right, then I think about it. But anything else, it's
I'd still rather have Colin Sexton any day over RJ Barrett.
The only reason I would think about it, so I've flip-flopped on RJ a lot. Because, like you said, there's times he looks amazing, there's times he looks like garbage. But overall, stats-wise, he has been getting better every season. His defense got better last season as well. He used to be a revolving door on defense. I mean,
he averaged 20 points last year. Then, like, the year before, I think it was like 17. So, yeah, he is getting better.
Yeah. And his 3-point percentage, I think, got better. I remember him saying he was going to work on that kind of stuff in the offseason.
He went down to 34% last season. Then he was 40% the year before. Was I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, like he got better on the defensive end. He was actually, like, for a part of the year up for consideration for like an all defensive team. But that kind of fizzled out. Also, because like when you have Tibbs, you don't have the legs to compete that long. But I still like RJ as a prospect, and I still do think that, not including Brunson, RJ is probably the best asset that the Knicks have. RJ kind of is the de facto number one asset, besides if you give them like 5 unprotected first round picks.
Right, which apparently the holdup is the amount of protection on those picks.
Right.
So they say, but I mean, they might say, well, we'll protect these picks, but then because I don't think the Knicks want to give up those picks. But then again, if you get Donovan Mitchell, who cares? Those picks aren't going to be worth anything if everything works out.
That's true. And that's what makes me think that they're also kind of worried about how they're going to be. Because if you're worried about those picks and the protections and everything, that makes me think you don't have that much faith that you're going to be a great team.